What's up, guys, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the New Metal Files. Now, you guys have been hitting me up about this one, wanting me to get this one out. Sadly, because, well, the singer Shifty Shellshock has passed away. Obviously, I'm talking about Crazytown. Now, I've covered them in the past, not necessarily in the best light or anything, you know, but I was kind of covering the madness that was happening on tour with the assorted, shifty, you know, Crazytown adjacent shows. And there was a lot of stuff going on. There was a lot of drama happening. And at the time, it was just so shocking to me to see and how these guys are still, or how, you know, one of them was still out there doing this stuff and kind of keeping the legacy going in some ways, and kind of wrecking whatever legacy they had left in a lot of ways. But that was Shifty Shellshock, man. The guy was a madman in the best of ways. In fact, like, everyone that knew the guy professionally had nothing but good things to say about him, and I'm talking everybody. And they had a pretty far reach as far as that kind of stuff goes. I mean, we all know that, you know, they're great friends with the Chili Peppers, but so, like, these dudes' musical credentials do go back. And re-listening to a lot of their older stuff, I mean, it's pretty obvious that these dudes had a pretty good grasp on exactly what they were doing and the sound that they were trying to grab and just push to its limits. And this is all kind of during the new metal, you know, era, if you will. And it really cannot be argued that these guys were not a new metal band, because, I mean, everything's there. But I do admit, they did take a lot of genre bending elements with the overall sound, and did a lot of things that no other groups came close to. And, you know, just if I'm being like blunt, they did the rap rock thing better than nearly anyone, you know. And they had two singers. They were doing everything. It was like a Limp Bizkit mixed with like a Linkin Park in that aspect. And there was just like a lot of things they were doing that no other groups were doing. Let's just put it that way. And they started pretty fucking early too. That's the crazy thing. I remember seeing, this is before Butterfly, I remember seeing their video for Toxic. You remember that? And which was more of like a punk kind of feel, at least in the video, and the overall kind of vibes, you know. But I remember seeing that, and I remember thinking that it was that band was Sugar Ray, because of course Sugar Ray was stuff like Mean Machine back in the day. This is way back when, guys. I remember seeing that, and I remember thinking, oh wow, Sugar Ray, like, oh, that Mark McGrath guy got buff, you know. But then, like, whenever Butterfly came out and took over, I mean, that shit was on repeat. You guys remember, like, back when MTV was still MTV, towards the end of it there, early 2000s, that shit was just on repeat. And it appeared in films, you know, Orange County comes to mind. But yeah, you know, so these dudes were always around, always prevalent. And I kind of wanted to just kind of show my respect to the guy, to the group, because my older videos that I did, which I'll link down below, and, you know, up there or whatever. Well, I don't know, I haven't watched them in a while, but I'm pretty sure I was just kind of laughing and having a good time at the guy's expense, which I will continue to do on this channel with other artists, I'm sure. But so, to get the show started, this one goes out to you guys that are still watching this shit, and to everybody who reached out about Seth Benzer and letting me know that what happened. You know, I got notifications at like 5 in the morning or something. It was crazy. But hey, thanks to all you guys, and I appreciate everyone watching and recommending this episode of New Metal Files, because hey, we haven't done Crazytown yet. We've done Nonpoint or some shit. We have not done Crazytown. So this one goes out to you guys watching. Here you go. Okay. Let's get to a classic performance from Crazytown. You guys remember Snow Job? I remember watching this way back when, man. I'm aging myself. This is from like 2000.
Crazytown.
Here's the sexually horny named Lollipop Porn, live at Snow Job.
Well, let's have some fun.
You see what I mean? Like, already, like, I like these guys sound live is way better. And you listen to the recordings, and it sounds so spot on, man. I miss these days. For the early 2000s, this is not bad. I dig their duality there. Like, Seth's Shifty Shellshock's voice, this raspy voice, great. Ooh boy. Let me pause it real quick. So, what do you guys think of Lollipop Porn? I think this is one of their better tracks from that album. In fact, I mean, that album has some bangers on it, if I'm being honest. But it's like, it's mainly known for Butterfly. You know, I think they had a lot more going on that album. And this track probably could have been a lot bigger. I mean, look at this shit. They're doing this right in the middle of a snowstorm. This X Games shit that's happening here. But these dudes did get around a lot, man. They had tracks on all kinds of stuff back in the day. I mean, there was no escaping Crazy. Everyone knew who Crazytown was. Everybody was familiar with them in one form or another. Me, like I said, I remember watching the Snow Job thing. I think I remember watching it on like Much Music or something like that back when, or maybe it was like a video game channel. I don't remember. But back then, you know, you had a shitload of different channels. You just skimming through, and you see Crazytown playing in the snow. You're gonna watch it. And this was my, this was like when I first saw the guys, when I was familiar with them at this point. By this point, I think Butterfly had just hit, so that shit was huge. Everyone here is waiting for that track, but I for one, I love it when these groups kind of play their entire set before getting to the hit everyone wants to hear and force everyone to sit through their shit. Like, and I think it's well worth it because, in my opinion, this track is pretty happening. There's a lot happening here for as far as new metal goes and whatnot. They're doing like they're obviously from their area. You can tell these dudes are like West Coast, even though they're a mix of both, you know, East and West. And I think maybe that's why it all works. And they have a real like kind of like if you get 311 and you throw some OPM in there, and I have to say a little bit of early Limp Bizkit, I think that you get, you know, these early days of Crazytown. Let's get back to it. It's the original lineup. I mean, I think Crazytown, I still see that crazy like guitar guy, you know. They're just filming a bunch of people bailing out on snowboards. Oh yeah, I love that line. I got too many rhymes, can't keep my mouth shut. So what do you guys think of Lollipop Porn? I think that's a pretty happening track there. Let's see what else they got here on Snow Job. We got to watch some Butterfly, right? Butterfly in the Snow. Let's check it out. Here we're watching Crazytown at Snow Job 2001. God damn. Here we go with Butterfly. I mean, it's more raw, if that means anything to you. You can see why the track works when they play it as a band. Like, I've always thought that the track, this is a very weak track, obviously. It's a pussy song, but what I'm getting at is like the recording itself wasn't as strong as the other ones. It kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. Maybe it's because it's a sample. This is what that something Diddy song, not that Diddy, but the song itself is called Silly Little Diddy or some shit like that from Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they sampled it. So seeing them play it live, actually pull it off live, like play their instruments and not be a sample, it feels way better. It feels much more full, thicker, like an actual song. And you throw it there in the middle, and it really fits with this guy's sound. So it's not so much as a sore thumb live. I'll put it that way. She got sex appeal. This shit reminds me of Orange County, straight up. I mean, I can't escape it. There is no escaping that. They used it perfectly in that fucking movie, man. You see it live, and it kind of makes you want to dance. Yeah, Shifty Shellshock will make your legs shake. Should have been fucking leg shaky Shellshock. Shaky leg Shellshock. R.I.P. Shifty, man. That's crazy. The guitar is taking a little break, taking a new metal break. Spiking his hair up. Weird track. It's, I mean, I still don't, I still don't see how this was so big. I don't understand how the fuck Butterfly was as big as it was. It makes no sense to me. Okay, so let me show you a track I actually do dig from them. You know, Butterflies aside. This one is from their third album, The Brimstone Sluggers. Now that's actually, I believe, what their band was supposed to be called before they settled on Crazytown. But this track right here, they kept what I like to say is they kept the new metal flame going with it, because this album has a lot of different sounds, if we're being honest, and in my opinion this one is still like the new metal track, it reminds you, oh, okay, these dudes, in my opinion of course, are still very much a new metal band, or they were at least. This is the track Lemon Face. Just check it out. You see, and this is like, I mean, they still got Epic. This is around 2015, I'm guessing. They were still pulling in big crowds, man. Even like back on their tours when it was just Shifty. I just kind of like the vibe to this track, especially the actual track, like the recording. It's very heavy. A lot of bass happening there. Great production. Let me know what you think below. It was pretty tight. Lemon Face. I don't know how many original members are here right now on this video, but it is cool to see these dudes still doing their thing. There's a lot more videos out there. This is just a better sounding track of Lemon Face. Also, guys, let me just say right now, if you're into this kind of thing, helping people on Patreon, so directly supporting the channel, you can join my Patreon, and I'm going to be uploading in a few days. We're going to be doing a watch along with a lot of Crazytown videos, their official music videos, including this track we were just listening to, Lemon Face. And so we'll get to hear all the quality I'm talking about, and watch some stuff that will normally get me demonetized. There's a lot of stuff happen over there on the channel, on the Patreon channel. I want to be uploading like a lot of making of stuff, maybe a few little vlogs and whatnot. Motherfucking Staunch Gang for life. So the dudes would manage to release the Brimstone Sluggers in 2015, and that really went a lot of places. There was a lot of dance sounding tracks, some straight up hip hop, dubstep, there was some punk sounding stuff in there. Most of it was pretty catchy, actually. But yeah, interesting thing is that after all the original members quit, even Epic, well, Shifty kept going on. Sometimes going on stage with just like pre-recorded tracks and a drummer, you know. And there's a lot of videos out there, of how hard it was for this dude, and how, he was obviously struggling with a lot. But still, you gotta hand it to Shifty. The dude kept his fucking band going no matter what. Even touring as Crazytown X or something like that. I think with Cottonmouth Kings they did that. I'm assuming there was some sort of issues there. I don't know. They can't really be judged on their, later careers, And it was strange seeing the headlines earlier, like how Shifty had passed. I mean, I was always optimistic for the dude. I really was. I think everyone was, actually. Yeah, he had a sordid history. That's no secret. Again, you can look up all that shit later. I'm not going to get into it. But the dude was still working on a lot of music. In fact, D-Loke of Cottonmouth Kings posted about how they recorded music, and I made a video about how they were supposed to release some stuff and it never really came to fruition. Well, D-Loke said he has a bunch of tracks that he's never going to put out there out of respect or whatever. So it kind of makes you think, like, what else was the dude working on? The dude had to have been working on a bunch of shit, and who knows, maybe some of that stuff will come out later. We'll see. Epic even spoke out about Shifty earlier today, saying that they were still in contact and still pretty good friends, and he has no regrets with anything Crazytown did, even though he eventually left the group. It's hard hearing him almost cry recalling his friendship with Shifty Shellshock, and how optimistic he said Shifty was even just a few weeks ago. Pretty cool TMZ video, look it up next. Overall, I think Crazytown's legacy is like They were a band that had some quality studio recordings. And I'm considering, again, that's because Epic was a producer before all of this and, continued on to it to this day. But also, they were a band that had a uniquely raw and energetic live sound that honestly, I mean, it did stick out from the new metal flood of bands back then. Trust me. There were a shitload of them, and not all of them were worth mentioning. Goddamn new metal files. Why did I start this show? And while the mainstream never really showed them the respect they deserved, they are a well-known band in their own circles, and they're all very much liked. And what can I say? Their reach went pretty far when it came to musical credentials. They had deep ties with different crews like, the Chili Peppers and the Suburban Noise Records crew, all those dudes, even till this day. Again, if he has recordings with D-Loc that we'll never hear, I can only imagine, again, what the guy was cooking up. I hope we hear some of that stuff. I really do. Everybody, check on your friends that you think may be struggling. Chances are, you're not wrong. Rest in peace, Shifty Shellshock. You were a wild son of a bitch. Who can hate on that? Guys, let me know who you want me to cover on the next episode of New Metal Files. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Consider joining my Patreon. Why not? Thank you for watching, Staunch Gang. This one's for you. Rest in peace, Shifty.